I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. But now we got to get down to it. We got to get down to it. The question of the week. All right, we get down to it. It's time to get down to the question of the week, and a very timely one here, as I'll explain in a second. But this one comes from, get down to the question of the week here, and this week's a little bit of a timely one, and I'll tell that story here in a second. But this comes from Knight of Ren 789. Shout out to the old Knight of Ren. Knight of Ren asked, what would you do for a Klondike bar? And very funny you say that, because back in the day, I don't know if that's still a thing, but that was a pretty popular commercial. It would go around, what would you do for a Klondike bar? And honestly, I wouldn't do a whole lot, because I wasn't a big fan of Klondike bars. I'm really not a big fan of desserts as a whole. I mean, I don't mind a cheesecake every once in a while, maybe a piece of pumpkin pie around the holidays, but I never one that like, man, I'm craving a cookie, I'm craving this. I crave meat. Give me a steak. Give me some chicken breast. Give me some of that. That's more of my cravings, but it is what it is, to each their own. But I don't mind a good Klondike bar once in a blue moon. It's been a long time. But I do remember way back in the day, once upon a time, and I'm thinking about doing some videos on the Kyle Peterson 2.0 about some crazy stories when I was a kid working in a grocery store. I got a million stories of just crazy stuff that would never happen in a million years. And one of those things was, at one time, yes, believe it or not, I was a frozen food manager at a grocery store, a major grocery store in the United States. I was a frozen food manager. And if you guys saw the figure hunt this week, I did post a little award presentation as the former company I worked at back in the day. Now I work on the other side of the fence, working with my company with them. I got a Hall of Fame award this week, so I'm just a Hall of Famer. I'm like a young Terry Funk in more ways than one, and Ultimate Warrior wrapped up together, kind of, in a Cheap Trick shirt. That's what I'm like. But anyways, I was at one time a frozen food manager, and one time I was like the youngest department manager in the company history, is what I was told. Oh, shooting for those stars at an early age. But I was a frozen food manager, and I touched myself a lot of Klondike bars. And I remember when the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Klondike bars came out, and I think there was Heath ones as well. Those were the game changers. So those were really good ones. But I wouldn't do a whole lot for a Klondike bar. But I do remember when I was a little kid, you know, I'm like, I don't know, 17 years old as a department manager or something. I was in high school at the time. It was wild. But I was a department manager, and I remember one of the reps, and the rep that represented Klondike Bar, I think it was Edie's at the time. It's been a while. But he represented Klondike, and we did a reset of the frozen aisle. And he was not a big fan of the reset, as he lost space, as things happen in the toy aisles. They happen in the grocery aisles. He lost space, and he was pretty fired up. And he didn't like this young whippersnapper, Kyle, telling him what to do and stuff, and kind of exploded on me and went off on me and stuff. And he gave me the old finger in the face of, you're way too young to be making these decisions. You don't know what you're talking about, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, you can't fight City Hall. This isn't even my planogram. This was a test planogram for the corporation that they were testing. So I had no say in it either. So he was giving me a hard time and all this. I'm like, dude, if you don't like it, go talk to the store director, is what I said. You know, I stood my ground. I was just, you know, a little kid there, and this is like a 48-year-old man or whatever yelling at me. But dude, you can't fight City Hall at the end of the day. And he went up to that director, and the director, this is the old time, and that's where a lot of these stories come. Stuff you couldn't do today. All of a sudden, coming down through the grocery aisle was the director, and he had this sales rep by the neck, kind of on his coat right here, and was pulling him. And he was walking him out of the store. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to see where this goes. Of course, you're 17. I don't care how old you are. You're going to want to see where this goes. And this was an old director from the olden times that didn't take no guff from anybody. And he brought him right out front of the store, turned him around, and pointed to the sign on the store and said, what does that say? And, you know, he said, oh, it says this. It's like, exactly. It's not Klondike. It's not Edie's. It's my store. Whatever I say goes. And Kyle's in this position for a reason, and you will listen to everything he does say. And I love that he had my back even at an early age like that. He trusted me enough to deal with this kind of stuff. So whenever I think of Klondike bars, I always think of that story, because we were right there in that facing. Second shelf from the top was the Klondike, a skinny bar, because those bags were boxes they came in were very thin. And I'll never forget that. So whenever I hear Klondike, that story comes up. So I wouldn't do a whole lot for a Klondike bar, in all honesty. But I would tell you a story for one. So there you go. So there it is. There's the question of the week. If you want to be the question of the week, shoot me one in the comments down below, and you might be the one I pick for the question of the week next week. So there you go. That's the question of the week. Now let's get into it. Let's get down to the weekly purchases. Get down to it. Let's get down to the weekly purchases. Probably 3 rounds of weekly purchases today. Just another all-timer of a week that really, really did snowball. And I guess Round 1 going to be sponsored by Hasbro. Hey, Hasbro, why don't you sponsor the weekly purchases? That would be nice. I think I spent enough money over at your wares over there. How about we sponsor the channel? Come on, Hasbro. What are you waiting for? But let's dive into it. Let's dive into some of this stuff. And we're going to start off with some Target clearance this week. A lot of people taking advantage of the Target clearance, myself included. I love this Dr. Doom figure. And I said, you know what? I want to display both looks of this Dr. Doom. This is such an iconic look to me as it reminds me of Secret Wars from when I was a child, if you did see this unboxing video. So I'm probably going to open this up. And then Captain Marvel, don't need two of her, so I'll probably sell this, get some of my money back, hopefully. We'll see, but $24 at Target right now. I just couldn't resist. I could not resist that one. And then I was playing the long game on this one, as I did need a Spider-Woman. So I got two of that one. I could display the Super Skrull in both looks now. So this is another pickup I had to end up picking up. There was no way I was passing those two up. So there it is. We got two of those guys through the door this week. But the hits keep on coming with the Marvel Legends. I did get these via DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save yourself 8%. But we did get the Wolverine X-Men 97. We did unbox the Sentinel X-Men 97 on the channel this week. Check that one out. We got Bishop, an all-time favorite of mine. We do got Storm. There she is. Storm doing her thing, looking good. We got the Master of Magnetism, Magnets. Oh, it's all about the magnets. There's old Magneto looking good there. And then, of course, you got to have Gambit. We got Gambit. So we're going to unbox these on the channel probably this week. Still waiting for Rogue. I should have that in the mail maybe towards the end of next week. Might see that in weekly purchases next week. So stay tuned for that one right there. But the hits, they keep on coming, and they come on to us from G.I. Joe as we do get some Walmart, yes, Walmart exclusives through the door this week. We got old Big Ben, an all-time favorite. I'll talk about this when we unbox him, a real big favorite of mine when I was a kid. We got Big Ben. Got to get that Range Viper. We unboxed him on the channel this week, but I, of course, got the Range Viper ×2 from Walmart, so I got 2 of these. Might pick up one more. We'll see what happens there. And speaking of Vipers, how about a Cobra Crimson Viper? Check out that review coming to the channel very soon. Probably on Patreon by the time you're watching this, I would imagine. We also got another one, so I picked up 2 of these. Just army building at the end of the day, I guess. And speaking of army building, a lot of people have been army building this one. Check out the review. Some people say army builder, some people say nay. I'm kind of in the nay, but I understand why people would. But it is Grunt, G.I. Joe Grunt right there, looking good. The Joe hits keep on coming. We got Firefly. We unboxed Firefly on the channel this week as well. Make sure you check out that video. Don't want to miss that one. And then another all-time favorite of mine, got Mr. Lowlight looking really good. Old Lowlight through the door here for him. And then I did get this one as well. I needed a second one. Of course, I wanted to display both looks. We got Talos, so now I can display both looks on him. Got a second one of him this week. We unboxed that, geez, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. What is time? Once again. And then we continue on with the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive, shipped less than a week later. We got old Iron Man Detroit Steel, and of course Detroit Steel different than Iron Man, but we unboxed this on the channel as well. Check out that one there. Shipped really fast. Where's Chuckles? Let's get Chuckles in the house very soon. So we got that going on, and the hits keep on coming. We move over to some more Marvel Legends. Got the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive through the door this week. That is, of course, Bob and Deadpool. So we finally got that through the door. Check out the unboxing of all of these coming to both YouTube channels between the two, as we know. And the hits, they just keep on coming. Once again from DJC Collectibles. Got the Green Ranger, my favorite Ranger, as you guys know. Green Ranger through the door. Got him. And the hits keep on coming. We got Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, through the door this week. Looking good. And then one of the most frustrating figures I've had in quite some time, as he did come broken out of the package. Watch the video. See me melt down. We did get the Red Ranger. So some Rangers through the door here. And this one made me furious in more than one way, is that Red Ranger. So a very infuriating unboxing. Like I said, check out the video on the channel. So there it is, round 1 of weekly purchases. Let me move some stuff around, and it'll be time for round number 2. All right, let's get down to round number 2 of weekly purchases, and this time we got some Masters of the Universe Origin figures. I did unbox these, but I did get my second order of these in for my more loose one, Army Builders, and my Men on Card collection. I got the Snake Men Infiltrators. I got 2 more of these guys to unbox as part of my He-Man display. Coming soon, hopefully, to the channel, sooner rather than later. I'm going to call in the big guns for some help on that one. We'll see what happens, so stay tuned for that. How about some WWE Superstars? We unboxed unboxed both of these on the channel this week. It is Captain Lou, it is Vader, and I did buy Double Up, of course, part of the Double Up Club on these. Had to get second editions there. You did see the loose ones in my unboxing video. So we got those. And then I talked about it, having been on card once for Masters Universe. Got my squeeze on, and got the Snake Infiltrator from Mid on Card set. So boy, oh boy, that He-Man set just going hard right now, as we do know. So we got those through the door. But the hits keep on coming. I got one that I've been playing the long game on for about 5 years. I've been looking for one of these. Finally got somewhat of a deal. Maybe not the deal I really wanted, but close enough. Close enough, a few dollars. What's a few dollars between friends, really, at the end of the day? But I did need this loose, but I found it minty complete, and I should say minty, not mint on card, but mint in box, inside the box. But I finally got this one. It was, I believe, a ringside collectible exclusive back in the day. Sergeant Slaughter and Randy Orton, limited edition Jax 2-pack. Of course, got the old wheel back there. Where's Eric Bischoff to spin that thing? Got this through the door this week. Now, I needed one to unbox. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look between the two of them, make sure I unbox the one that isn't as minty. But I did finally get a second version of this through the door this week. So a long one. 5 years I've probably been looking at it. It's not been at the top of my list, but it's one of those saved searches that you got to finally delete off. Always a good feeling when you get rid of a saved search. So how about that? You saw this one here, already unboxed it, but here's the packaging for it. It is Moxley, it is Bryan Danielson, it is the AEW Unrivaled Amazon exclusive through the door this week. Always fun to get that. And speaking of AEW, I did get a very cheap Orange Cassidy loose this week, and I said, you know what, I got all those Danhausen extra heads. I'm going to do what everybody else has probably been doing as well. Going to pop Danhausen's head on here and have that kind of iconic one from that t-shirt, that photo shoot, whatever you want to call it. Picked that one up. I think it was like $9.95 shipped or something like that. Good deal right there. Speaking of good deals, especially for my dad, I actually picked up 2 of them for my dad. I only got one for me, but it is the brand new Toonie Terrors. It is Svengoolie. Right down the road, Svengoolie. We're going to go visit. And my dad's favorite is, of course, Svengoolie. So you knew my dad had to have this. We'll see if he'll unbox this on the channel. We'll see. There's not a lot to it, but we could possibly do that. We'll see what he's up to. He's a busy man, my dad. Busy man. So we'll see what happens there. $7.49, a clearance event of a lifetime. I don't have a Green Arrow in my collection, so I said for $7.49, I think I can pull the trigger on this Green Arrow. Maybe it's not my most iconic Green Arrow, but it'll do for now, and especially for $7.49. Got no issues with that one. Got a little bit of a head scratcher through the door as well. An Amazon exclusive DC McFarlane Multiverse 2-pack. Look at this. That is about the worst packaging ever, but it is the Atomic Skull and Superman 2-pack. So I did get this through the door as well. We'll unbox it on the channel, or one of the channels, so stay tuned to that one if you want to see what that Atomic Skull is all about. He is truly the main event of this package, if you ask me. I did get this one of those ones I ordered forever ago, finally came to the door, forgot all about it, and very timely. Maybe we'll unbox this weekend, but it is Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Ultimate Edition / Glow-in-the-Dark Edition. Now, we just unboxed the regular edition / on Turtle Tuesday on Kyle Peterson 2.0. Maybe we'll do the yin and yang. We'll do the glow-in-the-dark one this week. Maybe that'll be the one we do. As you guys know, on that new channel, we're unboxing every single Tuesday one of these Super 7 Ultimate figures. Got like 50 of them to do, so there's a lot of videos to do, and then there's going to be more coming very soon, I think in November time frame. So we'll unbox this on there maybe this week, maybe down the road. We'll see what happens. I still got those 4 glow-in-the-dark turtles to unbox as well, so stay tuned for those in the future. Now, here's one I'm really excited for. As you guys have known, I've talked about this before on the channel. I'm a big Devil's Rejects, big House of a Thousand Corpses fan. Some of my favorite movies of all time. Right up there at the top. I did have the NECA Real Toys exclusives, all that kind of stuff. The rare variants, had all of that stuff. I don't know, 10 years or so ago, I got a heck of an offer that I just could not refuse, and I sold them all. Always kind of regretted it, but I didn't regret cashing that check at the end of the day either. But finally, NECA is getting after it. They said they were going to slow their roll on Sid Haig stuff, who played Captain Spaulding after his death. Well, it looks like things are coming back on. We got Toonie Terrors. We got all kinds of stuff coming. And what do we got going on right now? Well, there he is. We got old Captain Spaulding himself, the old NECA Captain Spaulding, House of a Thousand Corpses. Looking really good here. I'm definitely here for this one. Absolutely love the good Captain. A must-have in my collection. I had this on the old bubble card. It used to be. Now they got it in the box here. An all-timer. It's just too bad Sid's not around. It would look great with an autograph on there. But absolutely love Captain Spaulding. Absolutely love it. I can't believe it's 20 years since House of a Thousand Corpses. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now we're going to turn our attention and we're going to celebrate Harrison Ford. Yes, Harrison Ford. We're going to celebrate him as I did take a trip to Ross this week. All beautiful this time of year. And stay tuned for the next round of weekly purchases here as you're going to see the big pickup from Ross this week. But I did pick up this Han Solo Black Series Archive Edition, $5.99. Of course, it is a retread, freshening up of the old one. Couldn't pass this up for $5.99, so I picked that one up. And then I went across the street to Target. And what was at Target? Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, my favorite Indiana Jones movies, and I've only seen 2 of them, but he is my favorite one. I enjoyed Temple of Doom. Figured I'd get this one. I think it was like $11.89 on clearance, $12.89, something like that. I said, you know what? I'm going to get that one, and I think we need to unbox Han Solo and Indiana Jones together. I think we'll do a joint unboxing of that one. That should be an all-timer of an unboxing. But we're not done with round 2. We got one left to go, and this one came from the McFarlane Toy Store. A very cool one. I almost want to leave it in package, but I'll probably unbox it. It is the Joker Interrogation Room. How cool is this whole setup here? Definitely a lot of reuse you could use. You could put this table and background with your NECA figures, turtle figures, wrestling figures. There's a lot you could do with something like this. A very, very cool set, a very cool pickup, and I did get this from the McFarlane Toy Store. And that's it. That is round number 2. We got one more round, round number 3, and it is a big one. It is one that snowballed. Let's stay tuned. All right, we're going to finish it up with the final round of weekly purchases, and this week really snowballed totally out of control. And I'll start it off with something a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit kind of funny, but a few weeks ago I was asked, Kyle, do you collect art? And I was like, well, what is art exactly? It was one of the comments there. I think it was on Kyle Peterson 2.0, if you saw that. And I said, nah, I don't collect art. Well, it's funny how a thing changes in just a week, because now I'm basically an art snob at this point. I am a guy that loves checking these art galleries out and buying fine art pieces. Well, maybe not that far in, but I did go to Ross this week of all places. You might have saw this, or you will see this in a figure hunting video to come to Kyle Peterson 2.0, I think on Monday. But I did pick this bad boy up for $24.99. I couldn't leave him. He had to come home with me. Is that George Burns as a monkey? I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I knew I couldn't leave the store without it. I'm still undecided where I hang this poster, or I should say this fine art piece, really, at the end of the day. Where do I hang this up at? Do I put it at my office from work? Would people say anything? I think it would be a good conversation piece in my office. Or maybe I just hang it behind me at all times. I'm not exactly sure, but one thing is for sure, I couldn't live without this. So I'll find a home for it eventually, hopefully somewhere nice where it can really be shown off. Maybe I'll put it in the garage, so every time I pull the car in, I'm like, oh yeah, there's my old friend. Maybe just have him looking at me right there. But a beautiful art piece, strongly recommended if you can find one. I'm sure this is worth about $1 million. And art, at the end of the day, really is an investment piece. And investing in monkeys that like to smoke, cigars especially. So there you go. That's a big purchase this week. That's a big fine art purchase of the week right there. But we carry on into round number 3. We got Mr. Perfect WWE Superstars Unpunched Edition. Got that one this week. Looking good. And then I did get a little NECA. It is the horror season. I got a lot of horror unboxings to do. So I guess in October, maybe we'll have some spooky unboxings. And we'll add this one to the list. The Evil Dead Ash, of course. And there's an Evil Dead unboxing on the Patreon. It's been there for like 2 months. We'll get it out eventually, probably for the Halloween season as well. But there's another one, the old Evil Dead right there. And now, this is where things really snowballed out of control this week. Me and a good friend of the channel, Jeff George, have been powering our way through a few gargoyle episodes. As I knew enough about gargoyles back in the day, but I said, you know what, let's watch these all over again. So we've been watching them, going through them. Definitely a lot of crazy stuff going on. Old Jonathan Frakes over there, which is nice to hear his voice on a regular basis once again, since his questions of the week are over. So that's been nice. You see Broadway, he's trying to murder people, playing around with guns, all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the old gargoyles world. Which, of course, you're watching this cartoon, things start snowballing, and it was going to be, let's buy a gargoyle maybe once a week, and then it's just snowballs into some madness there. And I did go to my local toy store this week, and I said, okay, you got all this stuff going on, let's wheel and deal, let's work out a price, let's gotta get a deal. And that's exactly what I did, is I powered through with a lot of gargoyles this week, from NECA, of course. So you got to have Bronx, the Lemmy of the group, I guess I would call him. So you got Bronx right there. How about Goliath? NECA Genesis Edition, we'll call it, but it is the video game version of Goliath right there. Through the door this week. My main man, I think the one I like the most as of right now is Hudson. Hudson is probably my favorite right now. So we got Hudson through the door. You can't have a gargoyle collection without the leader of the gargoyles, old Goliath, looking strong, looking big, looking bad, looking nationwide like a young ZZ Top in a lot of ways. How about a little Steel Clan Robot through the door this week? So Steel Clan Robot representing right there. One of the faithful friends of the gargoyles, of course, is Brooklyn. Get him his motorcycle. Where's Brooklyn's motorcycle? We need that one. We need that one. How about Armored Xanatos? Of course, Jonathan Frakes himself. Xanatos, we got him in his armor, looking really good here. I'm here for that. There, right there. And then the hits keep on coming with maybe the most annoying character of the bunch, the attempted murderer, really, at the end of the day. Old Broadway. We got Broadway through the door right now. And the hits keep on coming with Broadway's victim, Eliza Meza, through the door this week. And boy, the hits keep on coming. They don't stop. We got Xanatos Regular Edition this week. So that's a heck of a lot of gargoyles. I think we'd all agree to that fact. A lot going on. There is no doubt about it. A lot going on in the gargoyles headspace. Where's Lexington? Get me that little player, Lexington. He's a legend. I can't wait to get Lexington in my collection. Hopefully he's coming out sooner rather than later. And I got to go through the checklist. I might be missing one or two still, but pretty good collection of gargoyles here in 1 week. Now the problem is their big wingspan. How do I find room to display them? I think I have some ideas, but I got a heck of a lot of work to do. I got a lot of display work to do. I'm just hoping I can find some time. But you know what Jerry Reed always says? Honestly, Jerry Reed's never been more right in all of the history of our videos here. I got a lot of display work to do. I got a lot of travel the next couple of months. Hopefully I can get it all done. We'll see what happens. We'll power through. We always do. What is time? What is sleep? Don't got time for either of them really at the end of the day. So we'll figure out a way. We'll figure out a way to get it all done. And we got to figure out a way to get these gargoyle unboxings as well. That might be a good one for Kyle Peterson 2.0. Maybe it'll be my Sunday nights with gargoyles. Maybe that's what it'll be. We'll see what happens there. But we'll have unboxings to come on these eventually. Maybe good for the Halloween season. We'll see what happens. But a lot of stuff going on both YouTube channels. So make sure you do subscribe to both of them. Remember at the top, we talked about the big giveaway going on. So make sure you get a point of that giveaway. You don't want to miss out on your chance to get Rita Repulsa in your collection. It's so easy. It's free. It's a free giveaway. So join up on that one. Of course, don't forget about the Patreon one as well. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to subscribe to both channels, as I said already. And then don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram and on Threads. So for the gargoyles and everything else under the sun, I am Kyle, and you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into another work week and a Cheap Trick concert.